Gayatri Mahamantra with your back straight, both hands on the laps, left beneath the right, contemplative mood. Om Bhurabhuvah Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Diyo Yonah Prachodayat. In the live classroom today, the journey furthers. And now today we embark upon chapter number 5, verse number 8 and 9 together. The essence of this particular verse, as bestowed by the timeless Guru Munived Vyas, it says that while doing all kind of activities, while being immersed, engrossed into all activity, important or sundry, whether it's eating, sighting, sleeping, moving, hearing, speaking, whatever it may be, excreting even, doing everything, anything to everything. While doing everything, yet I don't act. It is the sensory drivers that are engaged in their own working by themselves. I know at the outset the essence that I've narrated appears to be very weird, makes no sense at all. What does it mean by saying while walking, sleeping, eating, doing anything and everything, yet I don't do anything? Those that realize this fact are the true yogis, whether in the capacity of an ascetic or a professional. The meaning appears weird, but no. Bhagavad Gita needs a deep interpretation because it is esoteric, and any esoteric verse, knowledge, would certainly need certain interpretation in order to get detailed and find its consonance to our own practical lives. Likewise, this particular verse has involved my attention to a great extent because the benefits of this verse, the fruits of this verse, are larger than any of the verse probably which I would have studied so far under Bhagavad Gita. Although each and every single verse, sloka, under Bhagavad Gita is equally prominent and equally impactful. Yet, while experiencing this particular verse, I was really involved to the ultimate ends of my existence. You see, this particular verse is a technique of higher kind of a meditation or a contemplation. It's not merely something which has been composed or punctuated as a phrase. Rather, it is an indicator to esoteric contemplative technique. And the impact and the benefits of this technique directly come to anyone who practices it, shall practice it, in the form of a higher self-control, a better equanimity within, right? Inner poise, inner harmony, and release of adequate brain potential to manage tough situations. All these benefits come to the person who would contemplate according to the technique that shall certainly be followed under the interpretation of this verse. This verse makes a mention that try to experience the state of a perfect yogi, where a perfect yogi externally and even internally appears to be engrossed in dispensation of all obligations, while contributing 100% of one's own existence to the important obligations at hand, while immersed, entangled, engrossed, yet that perfect yogi is able to create a distance, a detached state where even while immersed into everything, he can insulate the core existence of his own individuality. How is it possible? It's not possible. When you're handling situations in your life, when you are into planning, when you are into examining certain facts, when you have to take a stand, when you have to reprimand someone on a disciplinary ground, when it is a crisis that you are amidst, those moments you cannot have an observation of distancing yourself, insulating yourself from all the ongoings, and yet say and perceive that all that is happening is not me. It's not easy. At least the kind of state which has been mentioned under the verse number 8 and 9 of chapter 5, I am not of that attainment, I am not of that attainment where I can say or profess or claim that I have this capability. Yes, I admit that. One among millions and millions should only be the one who could ever claim this eligibility of engrossing, indulging into everything yet distanced. Those rarest of rare people could claim, at least not me as a teacher. I may be teaching this subject, but not me. But one thing is very important to say here, yet that maybe that I or you may not be in a position to claim the end of that perfectionist which that Siddha has acquired, but yet the practice of the technique which is embedded into this particular verse is adequate to afford any practitioner with the capability to handle tough situations, tough people, the crisis, is able to develop more self-control, is able to maintain an inner equanimity, an inner balance, while doing all. And that's for sure. I talk out of my experience. I'm talking out of my experience. This particular technique of contemplation takes me to the understanding of a very esoteric subject under ancient Indian wisdom. At no point I am going to distract from the core subject. The core subject is about the contemplative technique which is embedded into this particular verses number 8 and 9 that capacitates any individual or professional with the ability to gather more self-control, with the ability to handle tough situations better, the ability to restore more and more of inner equanimity or inner poise of harmony, balance. At no point I am going to distract. Yet I must make a mention in order to put things into place. Under the ancient Indian wisdom, human existence, the existential aspect of human, are divided into 4 sheaths. They say that we all are encased with 5 subtle sheaths, not apparent to the naked eye, yet their existence is beyond any denial. And those 5 sheaths have been named as Annamay Kosh. Kosh means treasure. This treasure word associated as a suffix makes the subject esoteric. Annamay Kosh, Pranamay Kosh, Manomay Kosh, Vijnanamay Kosh, Anandamay Kosh. Annamay Kosh, although these subjects are to be detailed in a long session, yet to make a mention and to bring their inference into the right place, I'll just give few liners on each one of them respectively. Annamay Kosh. The body perishes the moment we die. Either we put it to flames or we bury it, whatever. This body is made out of anna. Anna is the food that we consume. According to the ancient Indian wisdom, food has three parts that we absorb. The one is the taste, the second is the impact or the effect, and the third has no equivalent word in English except the nearest one is propensity, that is sanskar. It says Anna has three portions: swad, sar, sanskar. The swad, that is taste, has to do with the tongue, good or bad, sour, pungent, whatever, sweet, salty. The sar, the effect, has to do with the impact that particular food shall cast upon our body, stomach, heavy, light, or whatever. And the third is with what kind of an understanding, what kind of an intention, what kind of an emotion was that anna, was that food procured and eaten. That forms the sanskar, that is the propensity. With the kind of intention that food was procured shall determine the quality of the sanskar. And when the body perishes after death, what travels down as the most external sheath around the soul is annamaya kosha. Kosh gives an indication to that subtle sheath of the food that we have consumed throughout. And when we incarnate again, when we take a rebirth again, then all these states gathered in one life start fructifying even in the other life. Impact of the food, the intention, the way the food was procured and eaten in one life is also carried forward to the another life. That's why we call it Annamaya Kosh. The second one is the energy body termed as Pranamaya Kosh. According to the ancient Indian wisdom, the human body is operated by 5 major currents. Each one is supported by their subordinate current. That's why we call it thus prana. Prana is the energy body. Your inner chivalry, courage, risk-taking ability, the blissfulness, the joy that you experience, enthusiasm. All these are part of the energy currents, the interplay of energy currents. If you're dissuasive, if you're fearsome, all that is part of the energy circuitry. And that also is a kosh, is a treasure that, according to the experiences gathered in one life, travels down to the other life. The third is the manomaya kosh. The thoughts that you experience in one life, the way you perceive things, the way you think, all that in the form of a memory, in the form of a program, travels down to another life. And that is called as manomaya kosha, the mental body, the mind body. There are so many names that have been assigned to them. The fourth one is the Vijnanmaya Kosh, where I'm going to stop, which has got directly something to do with this special kind of a technique to meditate, which is embedded into the verse number 8 and 9. Vijnanmaya Kosh is the experiential dimension of human existence, which means that all experiences that we gather in a life, all emotions that we experience, all those experiences are accumulated, gathered in a particular sheath that is called as Vijnanmaya, the experiential dimension, and it travels down to the other birth as a encasing upon our own soul. This Vijnanmaya Kosh is something to do with this. The ultimate is the blissful portion from where we draw all inspiration, source of all joy, and everything which is the basis of this creation is Anandamaya Kosh, something that is entangled with the higher consciousness. We'll not go to that. Vijnanmaya Kosh is something that I've been teaching and experiencing also since more than 25 years now. Under Vijnanmaya Kosh, what we do is we try to distance from all those things that we generally relate as our identity, that we consider as our isness, that we consider as our me, as we consider as I, my individuality. We try to distance from each and everything of that kind, whether it is body, whether it is thought, whether it's inner urge, whether it's imagination, whether it is memory, whatever it may be. We try to distance. And the more you try to distance from everything, generally appears to be you, intrinsically you, inseparable you. When you try to distance internally, you find and discover a new self within yourself. A self which is free. Rather, the true freedom that you access in your life is when you experience maybe a transitory, maybe something which is ephemeral, a transient state that you experience even for an interlude or small span of time. Although it is not that deep as like Siddhas. Siddhas experience it in longevity and the real experience it. Whereas we, when we practice a meditation technique, we are very much on the surface, but yet we are able to taste. It would be something like that. And merely tasting it gives us the impact. It's like someone not consuming opium, but merely with the fragrance or the aroma or the winds that have touched opium are enough to intoxicate a common person. I've heard it that wherever there is opium farming, if there's a wind blows, and if you're nearby, I've heard it, I haven't practiced it. It's enough to give you a small intoxicating experience inside. Likewise, if you contemplate, you also benefit of that interlude, that experience which higher perfectionist yogis do. And that experience is adequate enough to give you more of inner self-control, more of inner equanimity, that is inner balance, and it releases your brain potential to handle tough situations, the crisis management. And that is all that we need in the complexity ridden life today, because we are immersed into our activities to such an extent that everything that we do has a heavy baggage at the back of our mind. We are not able to switch off, we are not able to insulate. We get involved to certain extents where the undesirable emotions also get triggered. Animosity, enviousness, aggression, what are these? These are transgressions. A practitioner of this particular contemplative technique, contemplation technique, would not take a step back from dispensation of any duty. He'll contribute, he or she will contribute 100%, yet remain distanced and benefit all that a distanced individuality must. Because when you get engrossed, involved, to all extents you become a party. Then you are not no more a witness. Then there are all chances for you to transgress the limits, which then will absorb your identity towards any kind of aggression. So here, this technique is a beautiful manner to gain that inner endurance, inner ability of acquiring more self-control, more of inner harmony, more of inner balance, and releasing your brain potential to independently witness the panoramic view of any situation that confronts you and take appropriate decisions out of your wisdom by the exercise of your wisdom. That is the benefit of this contemplative session. Because whenever you get engrossed without maintaining a distance, you or me, I am the same. As a teacher, there is very less difference between those that hear me, that are listening me, and me myself. We both, Sahana Bhavatu, Sahanau Bhunattu, we both are traveling together. And we both are trying to experience, understand and experience, understand a concept and experience the benefits of the technique. The session will be inconclusive. Today's session, today's live classroom shall remain totally inconclusive if we do not practice this contemplative technique for few minutes. In the shloka, which you can certainly read through any script available on web, chapter 5, 8 and 9, where it goes on to say, It's the sensory drivers engaged into themselves, their own activity. I am distanced. I am not into it. To say is different, but to experiment it, experience is something really different. I want to take you along. I want to take you along with me right now to experience that particular feeling, that particular interlude where you can really distance. Generally, we have practiced this distancing, but unknowingly. We haven't practiced it knowingly. It happens through us that while looking at certain things, yet we don't register them. Unless someone would tap our head and say, "Are you not watching that?" No, I'm sorry, I'm looking at it, but I couldn't register it. What does it mean? Or while listening something, someone said, "I have repeated it twice now. Have you not understood?" "Oh, I'm sorry, I was somewhere else." "I'm sorry, I was somewhere else. I couldn't register it." What is it? When your ears are open, when your eyes are open, you're sighting and hearing what all you should be, yet you don't register. That means that there is a distinction between these drivers that listen, see, touch, smell, taste, and the one that is the observer. If the observer is not attentive towards the subject, then it would certainly elude its notices. Even while eyes are open, you won't see. Even while the ears are open, you won't hear. And all these facts have been experienced by all of us in our common lives, but not understood or brought under the light of this deep contemplative technique. Now, we have to, with all awareness, we have to practice this so that we gain those benefits that can be drawn by this wonderful esoteric knowledge. Without getting more into it, I've already given the benefits of it. I've already explained small brief upon it. I would now take you for a couple of minutes into that contemplative technique that is related with Vijnanamaya Kosh, the experiential dimension of human, which is embedded into the mentioning of this verse number 8 and 9 under chapter 5 of Bhagavad Gita. This is the inference that I draw. Bhagavad Gita is too vast, too vast. Different people would certainly interpret and perceive differently from it. Yet it is immutable. Join me for a small session. Be at a very comfortable posture. It does not matter whether you're on a sofa, you're on a chair, you're on the floor, cross-legged or not, or spread legs, or you're lying flat on the bed. It really does not matter. What matters most is that whatever posture that you have acquired should be not discomforting. It should be most comforting. You should be able to forget your physical body for a while. That posture is the advisable posture for this particular contemplative technique. So, be in the most comfortable position. Acquire absolute comfort so that you can forget the physical body at this moment. Close your eyes. Stationary body. No movements. No movements at all. Stationary. Stable. Sthira. 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 Body stationary. Sharir sthir. Sthir. No movements of any kind. Stationary. Sthira. No thoughts. No thoughts. No desires. No desires. no imagination, no imagination, no aggravation, no aggravation, no interference, no interference, peace, peace, harmony, shanti, shanti, shanti. Thoughts rest for a while. Desires rest for a while. All imagination rest for a while. All aggravation rest for a while. All interference rest for a while. And just peace. Shanti, 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 Shanti. Taste of deep tranquility. Experience inner peace, peace, harmony. Experience experience, experience. A question, a question. Am I the legs? Am I the legs? Legs. No. They belong to me, but I am not the legs. Am I the stomach? No. It is mine, but not me. Am I the chest? No. That's mine, not me. Am I the back? No. That's mine, but not me. Am I shoulder and arms? No. They are mine, but not me. Am I the neck? That's mine, but not me. Am I the head, eyes, nose, mouth, ears? Am I? nose, mouth, ear, head, they're all mine. Yes, they are mine, but not me. They are mine, but not me. Cha. Legs, stomach, chest, back, shoulder and arms, neck, head, eyes, nose, mouth and ears. I'm not them. I'm not them. Yeah, they're mine, but not me. I am different. I'm different. Different. Am I thoughts? Thoughts? No. I experience many of them. I experience many of them. But I am not thought. Am I desire, urge? No. I have experienced countless of them. They come, they rot, they pierce, and they dissipate. I have experienced them. But I am not a desire, urge. It's not me. Am I an imagination? No. I can recall number of them, conclusive, inconclusive. But I am not an imagination. I am not the body, it's mine. I am not the thought, I experience it. I am not the desire, urge, I experience it. I am not the imagination, memory, I experience it. Experience them. I experience them all. Where am I? Who am I? 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 Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. This is a very vast and an open-ended inner probe that takes long to conclude somewhere. I don't know the exactness of that somewhere. All we know is the scriptures that indicate towards that higher experience. That was all for verse number 8 and 9 in the chapter 5. The journey will continue in the next live classroom every second and last Sunday of each month. Dedicated courses upon Bhagavad Gita and leadership shall shortly be released upon dineshg.com/en live. Till then, Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om.